Like, you're calling these public figures ugly and insane on your public platform, and you're not expecting it to blow up in your face? He's such a weird guy. He's so gross. He's like a remnant of the edgy gamer era. And this is the kind of guy that we have representing liberals, like liberalism on Jubilee. This is the best that we can do for like the public mainstream debaters. Destiny has had some allegations come out against him, and we'll see if he's getting sued or not. So let's just start off with the Destiny thing. It's over. This is from Destiny's own community, r/Taliban. That's his subreddit. It says, the Destiny situation is crazy incoming, and it's a meme, right? They're like, oh, Moist Critical is going to make a video about this. 1.1 thousand upvotes, 107 comments. Not gonna lie, I might be done watching Steven because of this. This shit is bad and could be classified as revenge porn if a lawyer is good enough at arguing. Why isn't main sub talking about it at all? Getting banned? Yes, it's banned until he makes a statement. The comments in the pin post telling everyone not to post about it seem to be staying up, at least for now. Main sub is not happy with him. The reason that I wanted to bring up this post is because it seems like Destiny's community is actually kind of done with him, and at least when it comes to when they're like forcibly confronted with these allegations, they're not really protecting him at all. Let's first take a look at this video to give us kind of the rundown, and then we'll kind of get into more of the reactions and talking about how his community is trying to spin this.
In this video, I'm going to tell you a story about a man. It's about a man with a small social media empire on YouTube. A man who uses his clout and his fame to lure mentally and financially vulnerable women from his community into sexual encounters which he records and then, without their consent, shares with others. This recently culminated on November 29th of 2024, when an anonymous Discord and Kiwi Farms user going by the name Solo Leaks published a large repository of private messages and pornographic images and videos of Destiny with various men and women to Discord and Kiwi Farms, recordings that Destiny had shared to strangers without the consent of the people in them. It's important to note that this is not the first time that Destiny has been...
Listen, the info I know about Destiny is against my will too. The guy just seems like a creep in whatever kind of context I run into him. One way you can kind of solve this issue is A, by not predating on young teenage women when you're in your 30s, and then B, just not sending out pornography of people without their consent. C, don't predate on your fans. Why does Destiny seems to be cultivating this group of followers simply so that he can have his like choice of women in his following to sleep with.
All the way back in 2012, Destiny was caught up in a scandal involving a competitive StarCraft 2 player called Blue T, who had tweeted out a photo of his genitals. This was in retaliation for Destiny previously leaking nude images of her to his friends on Skype, wherein he laughed at how quote-unquote fucking hideous her face was compared to her quote-unquote beautiful body. In 2021, Destiny had a romantic entanglement with a YouTube streamer named Anna Voir. Anna would go on to become known for insisting, often tearfully, that she was actually in a long-term romantic relationship with Destiny, which Destiny denied, painting her as crazy to his audience. It was later revealed that in fact, while Destiny was insisting to his audience that Anna was insane, he was actually sexting her the entire time, and referring to her with terms such as princess in their conversations. Anna threatened to post these sexually charged texts to prove that she wasn't crazy and that...
Like, dude, what is going through Destiny's head? He is just so far removed from being a normal person. While you're sexting with a public figure, right? She's a content creator. While also on your platform, she's like an ugly person and she's insane. Like, you're calling these public figures ugly and insane on your public platform, and you're not expecting it to blow up in your face? He's such a weird guy. He's so gross. He's like a remnant of the edgy gamer era. And this is the kind of guy that we have representing liberals, like liberalism on Jubilee. This is the best that we can do for like the public mainstream debaters.
And in retaliation, Destiny threatened in public to leak her nude photos if she did so.
Like if you and I had like sexted or something or traded nudes and you were like, I'm gonna leak your nudes, and I go, fuck you, if you leak my nudes, I'm gonna leak your nudes. Is that like blackmail or is that like abusive? I disagree.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to them?
I think it's about proportional.
Destiny has also at least once admitted to accidentally sending homemade videos of him and his wife to people who his wife did not in advance approve of, in accordance with a previous agreement that he wouldn't.
Melina talked to me and she was like, hey, if you're gonna send any videos to new girls that we haven't talked about, like, let me know that first. because she wanted to be careful. It was like, oh, okay, sure, that's fine. I didn't think about it at the time because I didn't think it mattered. But for the first thing, like, okay, yeah, I should have like checked 100% with Lena Major, but like this.
Other examples of threats and sexual misconduct made by Destiny are plentiful, but the general point is this. Destiny has a very bad history when it comes to sharing intimate material of people that he is sexually involved with without their consent, and of using the threat of their release to keep people in line.
So, like, Destiny is sending sexual materials to his fans? And Hassan was talking about how, like, Destiny is forming a sex cult. And I'm like, that seems like a little far, right? But I hadn't watched this President Sunday video, and I hadn't gotten all of the context. But if Destiny's actually, like, taking female fans that he wants to have sex with and then using those sexual encounters to document, like, his prowess, right? Like a kind of badge of honor, like a medal that he wins. So it really does kind of seem like a sex cult where Destiny's using sex as a kind of a tool to demonstrate his power. Really gross, and Destiny is not the guy that I would expect to be running a sex cult just from looking at him. I guess that's kind of what sex cult leaders usually are. They're probably not the most conventionally attractive people, otherwise they wouldn't need to be running a sex cult.
Due to the solo leaks, it has come to light that Destiny has been sharing intimate private messages, nude images, and pornographic videos with a 19-year-old OnlyFans creator called Rose, who he was sexually interested in at the time. Rose leaked these to a Discord and Kiwi Farms user called Solo Leaks, who may for all we know be Rose herself, who then published them to Discord and to Kiwi Farms. These leaks included intimate romantic and sexual DMs between Destiny and Lord Southern, who Destiny had long denied being romantically involved with while she became increasingly present in his public personal life and on stream, despite being publicly at odds with each other politically on the surface. Destiny even once described her activism as involving, quote-unquote, drowning refugees. These DMs revealed that, in fact, Destiny and Lauren Southern had been mutually declaring their love and admiration for each other, including expressing intentions to separate from the...
Okay, I'm sorry. I need to read this screenshot. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm starting to think all of the collabs that Destiny does with other media figures is only a sexual thing for him. And it brings me back to the Adam Friedland podcast that Destiny, where he talks about how winning a debate is like doing crack. Let's take a look.
Like
My community?
yeah,
or
yours. Excuse male.
heavily male. I think 88% was our last
Nice,
survey.
dude.
Probably heavily like white, just because it's like tech and politics and shit.
And they're watching 10 hours a day.
No, probably not all of them, not most of them, but they are watching probably for like an hour or two, which is a lot to consume of a person. Yeah.
Yeah. You can get pussy off debates?
Yeah.
Do you think has a woman ever watched you like winning a debate and just becoming, have you noticed her in the...
I mean, isn't dating and like fucking chicks, isn't that all kind of like a debate? Isn't that what you're doing when you go to dinner? You're like, trying to make the best argument for why.
Yeah, but you can't win.
You can't win?
You debate women?
Adam Friedland kind of takes it in a different direction, right? And then makes a joke about how you're doing an actual debate and you're like making her feel bad. But like I made the comment earlier when I first watched that video with Adam Friedland, like Destiny's not really treating women like real people. He's using his position at kind of the top of some kind of weird cult like following, kind of convince women to sleep with him, including sending videos of other attractive women that he's conquered in the past, right? And it's like, oh, look at this woman that I had sex with. Like, you think you're out of my league? Well, I had sex with her. So it kind of takes on a whole new meaning, right? Where he's like, I'm going to debate these into sleeping with, which is just really gross. And also the fact that he's talking about how his position as a online debater has gotten him women in the past, where he said yes about like getting women through debates without even thinking about it, is also just extremely indicative of this really gross, incestuous relationship that he has with his fan base. So let's take a look at what Lauren Southern said to Destiny. You're basically asking if you can argue me out of this, and I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure if I say yes. Like, obviously I chose you. I wanted to be with you. I would have gone on another date if that's what you wanted. You've been super transparent about not wanting the same things I do in life. That's heartbreaking because obviously we have something incredibly special. Oh my God, dude. You horrible people having like cringe middle school like love messages passed back and forth. I really appreciate your honesty though, because I'm not just making decisions for myself. I'm making them for Brock too. Who's Brock? Is that her actual boyfriend? I'm like only a few weeks into regular normal people dating. Bro, these people's egos are unchained. So I don't think I could say my mind is set on anything. But I also don't want you to ever be dishonest about your intentions and limitations within relationships because you want to keep have. I'm not going anywhere. You're always going to be part of my life, I hope. I just don't really know what things are going to look like going forward while I'm trying my best to be respectful and hold to my values with people I date to try to give. Okay. It's just like, oh, whatever you say, honey, like almost too woke therapy speak for these people to justify their toxic actions that they're doing with each other.
In addition to these leaks, which not only severely compromised Lauren Southern's career and personal life, but also established that Destiny was lying when he accused his wife of being delusional and controlling about the affair, Solo Leaks also published a massive dump of revenge pornography, which featured various sexual encounters with numerous men and women that Destiny had recorded and sent to Rose as part of their flirtations, which incidentally include references to how he recorded other people not included in the dump, including a recording of a sexual encounter with someone he met on the gay dating app Grindr with no mention of having alerted this person to the fact that they were being recorded.
What the fuck, dude? So he's like, I recorded the audio, but it's not that great, lol, but still fun. Oh god. Do people really flirt by sending sex tapes? Is that something that people used to flirt? Oh yeah, watch how good I sucked off this other guy. That's gonna get you really wet for me. It's so weird. Like, I cannot relate to that at all.
Why is everyone being so silent about something that by all rights should be a massive sex and abuse scandal about one of online politics' biggest and most controversial figures? Now, if one were to say that the creators around Destiny were simply remaining silent about this scandal in order to continue to capitalize on their friendship with Destiny and have access to his audience, this would be a misleading oversimplification. And it turns out that in fact a lot of people are simply afraid. A very large creator in YouTube commentary, disgusted at the obvious sexual abuse and public coercion he was witnessing coming from Destiny and his defenders, reached out to me directly to clarify why he was not being more vocal. He told me that, due to the sensitive nature of the material, despite being very confident about Destiny's guilt, he was very conflicted about coming forward against Destiny on behalf of the victims in this story without them voluntarily coming forward first. Destiny has a history of persuading his victims to come to his defense during a scandal. And second, because of Destiny's ability to use his hold over his massive audience to deal serious reputational and financial damage to people who he feels have slighted him.
Guys, if this is just gonna be like Destiny's OSAS community defending each other and like backstabbing each other, I just don't want to get that deep into Destiny's.
Enter Pxie. Pxie is a tiny streamer who, like Destiny's wife Melina, was visually identifiable in the leaks. Pxie had been working closely with Destiny since she turned 20 years old in 2019, and in addition to appearing on stream together regularly, Destiny also got her involved in paid positions organizing for canvassing projects like with.
Okay, it is important to cover the Pxie section of the drama because Pxie is actually the one suing Destiny's.
Progressive Victory, who he partnered with in 2024, and she would accompany him multiple times to large podcast appearances such as the Whatever podcast, which he would pay for her to be flown out to. Pxie had, for a very long time, repeatedly tried to present herself as an example of a woman who could succeed as a part of Destiny's orbit, without being a member of his oft-rumored harem of women who offer him sexual favors. In light of these leaks, that image has obviously been shattered, and she has received the brunt of negative reactions to the scandal, since people who hate Destiny and hate the politics of the people in his group are eager to laugh at the hypocrisy of one of them, even if it means joining in the mass harassment of someone who is in fact a victim of revenge porn. In an exchange that I have learned has since been circulated among the entire commentary community on YouTube and virtually everyone in Destiny's circle, Not So Erudite can be seen haggling with Pxie over the amount of money that would be appropriate for Destiny to pay her to not involve the court system or to denounce him publicly. First, Pxie uses the implicit threat of her impending suicide and a scheduled note announcing it to pressure Destiny to pay out a significant sum of money, and then later switches to vague threats of public denunciations and legal action. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, her friend Straight Raid was colluding to advise Destiny to offer to help her financially as penance to stave off her threats of self-harm. A situation that would obviously be a reputational disaster for Destiny. Note, Straight Raid has also explicitly said that she did not consider the situation serious enough to warrant a wellness check. As revealed in earlier DMs between Pxie and Destiny prior to this conversation with Not So Erudite, Pxie and her friend Straight Raid had used the specter of her impending suicide to alarm Destiny enough that he would be receptive to suggestions of financial compensation. Apparently, Pxie was hopeful from the beginning that she could get as much as a $1 million payout from Destiny, which Straight Raid had to repeatedly talk her down from. The condition of this financial compensation is, of course, Pxie's continued silence. Destiny, and the web he has created around himself, is creating victims, and if it is allowed to continue, it will create more. I urge everyone to pay attention and to warn people about the danger they are putting themselves into by engaging with Destiny and his community. These are people who have been handpicked for their willingness to not just remain passive in the wake of intimate and potentially life-ruining abuse, but to also become accomplices in silencing the victims. And the victims are also selected, either for mental illness, allowing them to be easily construed as hysterical or deceptive when they complain about their treatment, or for financial vulnerability, allowing them to be easily paid off by Destiny for their silence. Thanks to certain individuals revealing to me the extent to which people are knowingly allowing or even actively taking part in the system.
Yeah, President Sunday really loves the sound of his own voice. So it's kind of like, it is kind of like a sex cult. Like, I have to hand it to Hassan for just nailing it in that regard, where Destiny will use his power as a big streamer to get women to sleep with him, and then also to get women to kind of keep their mouth shut. So this is the Destiny drama mega thread. In these videos, there are leaks of messages between Not So Erudite and Pxie discussing potential compensation from Destiny for distributing the sexual material she appeared in, as well as the draft of Pxie's statement regarding the situation. Calling what Pxie is doing extortion, it's like an extremely uncharitable take, and I do think that Pixie's mostly focusing on actually like punishing Destiny for his behavior and kind of exposing it and making sure that he won't do it again by taking a financial penalty from him. DMs reveal that Destiny had to pay off one of his victims through his co-host Not So Erudite. So kind of the comparison is Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's go-between. So Not So Erudite is definitely not a good person. So let's see, what is this? Other than that, what I mentioned, is there anything you were hoping to be brought up? I think I'm going to decide my next course of action of what to do with myself and him based on how that conversation goes. Unless if you decide you don't want to talk to him, that's okay too. Basically, I have my plan / course of action paused, and we'll choose something depending on if he has to make up / repent for the action and wants to work with me to find a way to do that. Or if he doesn't feel that way, I don't want to talk to him myself because I feel like I tried explaining what I was feeling and he didn't really understand. I'm also still looking into lawyers, but I just want to see what he says before deciding to do any nuclear option. So I guess this is what President Sunday was saying was extortion, saying like, I'm looking into lawyers, but I want to see what Destiny's going to do. Can I share this with Steven? He communicated to me he knows he effed up, there's no excuse at all, and he doesn't know what he can do for you to make it up. I'm trying to bridge between to help him understand what would make you feel that he understood was wrong and would never do this again. Or better, what can I share with him? Share this and anything you want with him. I felt like when we talked, you really understood where I was coming from and can explain this better. Gotcha. Thanks for not sugarcoating anything about where you're at. I think what we talked about is what you need to help removing the video from and getting the guy who hacked charged. A sense that Steven understands how in the wrong he was in a plan to prevent this from ever happening. Is this what you feel you need? Yeah, the only problem is number 3, because even with the removal of the video and getting the guy charged, Steven has to face consequences proportional to his actions. So she's saying, yeah, I want to get law enforcement involved. Okay, so that is what you want to pursue. It wasn't clear to me before that this is what you wanted specifically. My understanding, it was more a sense of rehabilitation and justice. Dude, the fucking gaslighting. Like using therapy speak to kind of sanitize your actions, right? Oh, well, I'm so happy that you were making it clear to me what you wanted. They're like, oh, well, that's not really what I was saying. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted a sense of rehabilitation and justice. Holy shit. Pxie has released her statement publicly on Twitter stating she is a victim of revenge porn and will be suing Destiny for this. Her longer statement includes her history with Destiny and her side of the story. On November 29th, the streamer Destiny non-consensually shared my nudes, making me a victim of revenge porn. I will be suing him in federal court. Here's my story. The link to my fundraising campaign. Also, if you're a leftist who has talked about the situation without so much contacting me, you owe me an apology. On top of being a victim of revenge porn, I now have to deal with people lying about my dating life and further dehumanization of me. Okay, well, I don't think I'm going to contact her just because she's not going to respond, but that's her statement. Pretty simple. This has notably been shared by Destiny's ex-wife Melina, as well as Lonerbox, who is stated to be Pixie's boyfriend. What? Lonerbox is Pixie's boyfriend? Oh shit. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. So is that why Lonerbox was quitting? Come on, guys, be nice to Loner. He's all alone now. Now his name is fitting. Is she his ex-girlfriend or actual friend? We have here Destiny responded in a post on his subreddit. So this is a funny post. Legal arc beginning in mysterious ways. Such wow. Sometime in November, extremely sensitive and personal material of mine was leaked. This affected not only me, but many people in my life. I want to be clear, the leak happened without my knowledge, consent, or authorization. I never had an intention for any of these images to be published. I haven't spoken out publicly regarding this situation for a few reasons. I'm actively pursuing criminal and civil litigation on these matters against multiple parties. Speaking publicly about these materials brings more attention to them, which harms all of the victims involved. I've been trying to move on from covering drama content as it has had an increasingly negative impact on those in my... Okay. Centrist challenges Destiny to prove Sam Hyde's a neo-Nazi and instantly regrets it. Seems kind of drama. Elon melts down and leaks DMs with Asmongold. Sam Harris reveals multi-million-dollar bet with Elon that killed their friendship. Yeah, so Destiny is... he's really turned over a new leaf recently and started avoiding drama. All right, on to number 4. One person involved has expressed suicidal thoughts in relation to the matter, and I did not want to exacerbate the situation by talking about it publicly. Because there are now multiple parties involved in litigation, it is unlikely I'll be able to answer any questions until pending litigation has been resolved. That said, though, I'm limited in what I can say. It is important that people know about my recent communications with and regarding Pxie, someone who I was friends with and collaborated with on many occasions. Since the leaks were first circulated, Pxie had stressed to me that keeping things out of the public eye was important to her. I've always said I would do my best to not confirm or publicize anything, and I kept my word. On December 11th, I received a message from a mutual acquaintance named Lauren Hayden, known online as Lauren De Laguna, who has a legal background. Lauren has had a negative sentiment toward me after I rejected her romantic advances earlier in the year. Dude, Destiny is literally just living in his own anime, isn't he? I understand she has organized the fundraiser to support Pixie's lawsuit against me and assume that she has been counseling Pxie on how to proceed. That's hilarious. So he's like, Pxie is like his daughter and his bitch ex-wife is turning his daughter against him kind of thing. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. That same day, I received a message from Pxie where she suggested she would create a post about me that would go live after she committed suicide. This concerned me greatly. I genuinely believed she was still in mental anguish following the leak weeks earlier. I responded in earnest, doing what I could to reassure her and letting her know that she had every right to pursue a legal course of action. At no stage did I try to convince her otherwise. This was a highly emotional, volatile time, and my main concern was her well-being. She's also leaking messages, like private messages of Pxie saying that she's going to off herself. Like that's how you respect Pixie's privacy. A few hours later, I messaged a mutual friend, Straight-A-Raid. Oh my god, dude. Every fucking character in Destiny's community is more sordid than the last. Who I knew to be particularly close with Pxie. We tried to figure out the best way forward in terms of making things right, or as right as they could be for Pxie. In that conversation, we spoke about things I could do to alleviate the toll on Pixie's mental health. I took Straight-A-Raid Bro, I can't fucking read that username. Like, this is transporting me back into middle school when people are like, Gamer69. Later in a conversation with the Straight-A-Raid, she told me that Pxie seemed to want me to cover her entire tuition for law school. Others told me that Pxie thought it would be appropriate for me to pay her anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. At no point did Pxie make a specific or explicit request for financial compensation. Like, he's literally just being like, okay, and then I was talking to this person, then I was talking to that person. This is just completely irrelevant drama. Like, he's talking about completely irrelevant stuff to just do anything to not talk about the matter at hand. It became clear that no amount that I agreed to would be satisfactory by nature of the fact that I agreed to it. Third parties communicated that the point of any financial compensation would be to punish me. Oh my god. Yeah, he's playing the victim now. Even if I wanted to agree to a number, no number that I would agree to would be enough because they want to punish me. The person who I leaked nudes of is being irrational. That language was incredibly frustrating to hear secondhand. I had already shown a willingness to make things right as best I could. Okay, Destiny having this fixation on like making things right as best he could. There are some things in your life where you can't fix it and it's out of your control. If you share explicit pictures of someone without their consent, you fucked up. It's not on you to fix it. It's on them to come to you. If they come to you with an idea of how you can fix it, you can work with them on that. But it's not incumbent on you to be like, I'm ready to fix this. Why aren't you ready to forgive me? Destiny is flipping this and putting all of the pressure back onto Pxie. And he's like, I'm ready to work for a solution. Why are you being such a bitch and just crying and trying to punish me on this? You're being irrational. You should be able to work with me here. Once again, he's completely faultless here, right? Suddenly, like, he doesn't have that power anymore, and he's freaking out because of it. I've never told anyone what they can or cannot speak about, and I've always felt that option open to them, despite what some people have said. I've never threatened Pxie with litigation or NDA'd anyone. My goal was to respect the wishes of the people who have been affected by the leak. Pxie's now stated her intention to sue me and is fundraising for that. I do not believe I have violated any laws, and since Pxie has made clear what she wants to do, I will have to let the evidence and legal filings speak for themselves. It is unfortunate that it has come to this, but it means that all communications with her or Lauren, who may or may not be representing her, will have to be through counsel. Okay, so literally, just this last paragraph is all Destiny needed to say. And the only reason Destiny included like these 8 paragraphs is to try to paint himself as the victim and say that I'm such a good guy, but this bitch is completely being irrational and wants to sue me. So yeah, Destiny is just like a pretty gross guy in general, and his community is kind of falling apart, which is a good thing. The less that Destiny streams, the better it's going to be for kind of everyone else online.